Hey y'all, hey, and welcome to Drawn Conclusions with me, Christina B. It's been a while, but I'm back today with a good old Talk to Me Tuesday. Now, we all know that Dwight Howard has a son with Royce Reed from Basketball Wives, but you may not know of the recent trouble that he has been in. Let's discuss. Braylon, the 14-year-old son of Dwight Howard and Royce Reed, is the subject of recent controversy. He allegedly has a history of inappropriate contact with younger children. There were incidents before involving two other children that caused his mother to put him into sexual treatment counseling. These incidents also came with consequences, including Braylon being expelled from school, and he was not allowed to be left alone around young children. Earlier this year, Royce's boyfriend and his 6-year-old son came to her home. Braylon and the boyfriend's 6-year-old son were left alone. And this is when Braylon allegedly molested the younger child. In documents, investigators confirmed that Braylon stated during an interview about the incident that he made the child masturbate him because he was angry at him. He also revealed that it happened on 2 separate occasions. In the interview, he states that anger triggers him into acting out sexually. The incident came to light when Braylon told his sex therapist about it. The therapist, being a mandated reporter, notified the Department of Children and Family Services. In turn, Royce was charged with 3rd-degree felony child neglect for allowing her son to be around the child. Documents state that he was explicitly forbidden by the authorities to have any contact with any minor child that was 2 years younger than him. With Royce's boyfriend being 6 years old and Braylon being 14, he was clearly not supposed to be around this child. It was also stated that Braylon had been allowed to be alone with this child multiple times over the last year. It's well known that Braylon does not have the best relationship with his father, Dwight Howard, with Braylon calling Dwight a deadbeat dad in 2020. The two went back and forth via social media for a little while before everything calmed down, which made it seem like the two may have been working towards having a better relationship. Dwight was also accused of beating the child with a belt when he was younger. Royce pressed charges, but they eventually were dropped. When Braylon was asked about his father during the interview for this incident, he said that he hadn't seen him in a while. Though he is the child of famous parents and his pictures have been shared by them and paparazzi both before this incident and after, he's still a child. He still is entitled to his privacy, and I personally am not going to put any of his pictures in here. So if you just were wondering, why not? That's why not. In reading all of the comments about this, because social media, the people that are fans of or care about Royce Reed and Dwight Howard have had a field day with this. I think the part that we're largely missing as a community is that this is a child doing this to other children. For this to be how he acts out when he gets angry, it suggests to me that this has been done to him. It suggests abuse. I feel like he's been sexually abused and hasn't been able to talk about it or properly express his emotions or anger about it. And this is the way that he chooses to act out. He inflicts the same anger onto other children that has been inflicted on him because he's not able to process it. To just label him a pedophile or a deviant at 14 is reaching. And also irresponsible at this point. The child needs help. He needs extensive therapy, love, and support. A lot of the cases that I've researched and even watched, because I've researched several cases, but I've watched millions of them. And a common thread in a lot of the people that end up being serial rapists, serial molesters, or serial killers that have a kink or something sexual in nature, all goes back to them having some type of early sexual assault. And there are red flags along the way that show, what the person is capable of as they become an adult. So this should really be a changing point in this child's life. His parents should come behind him. His support system, whoever loves him and cares about him should really rally behind him at this point, get him the help that he needs, and help him to work through this so that he can be a better person, so that he does not feel the need to act out in these ways. It shouldn't be in 20 years something that we look back on as one of the red flags that should have been seen to stop him from doing something more horrific than he's already done. What he does not need is for his parents to sweep this under the rug and cover it up because they're in the public eye. Locking him up is only going to make him worse. And in 5 to 10 years, we're going to have a serial rapist, or worse, a serial killer on our hands. I think that he is traumatized and that he feels that he has no outlet for his pain. It's just so sad that he's been given the opportunity to traumatize another child. I do not feel bad for Royce at all. As I said earlier, she did receive charges associated with what her son did to her boyfriend's son. She did want to specify whenever she spoke about it that she turned herself in. They did not have to come arrest her. I think there was a warrant because they issue a warrant if you aren't arrested in person. And she, instead of waiting for the warrant to be filed against her or for them to come to her, she went ahead and turned herself in, paid whatever the bill was, and she is now out awaiting the trial. If she decides to plead not guilty, of course, if she decides to plead guilty, then there'll be no trial. She'll get whatever consequences she gets. And again, I do not feel bad for her. She knew that her son had done something to other children, to traumatize them, to hurt them, or harm them in whatever way. And she was told explicitly that he was not allowed to be around any more young children. She ignored that for her comfort and for what she wanted. She wanted to have a family with her new husband, which of course would include their children. And so she ignored the possible threat, or I guess the real threat, that her son was to this child, and allowed them to be together. So yes, she should be charged. If this was the first time, then no, because she didn't know that that's something her son was capable of. But the fact that this has happened twice before, and she has been forewarned, and there were things put in place to prevent this from happening, and she disregarded all of that to put somebody else's child in risk of being harmed, is disgusting. I hope she does a little bit of jail time. I don't think she needs to do like years or whatever, but I don't think like paying a fine and issuing an apology is enough. I do think she would need to do some jail time because, and this is not just a famous person thing, it is really just a person thing, or an American person thing, but people in the public eye specifically have a hard time of humbling themselves, or of putting other people and other people's need ahead of themselves. Because they get so much attention and so much love, so much everything from everybody else, and they tend to be the main focus when they are anywhere, if they're famous enough. It's hard for them to then, not have that permeate how they feel about themselves. So, a lot of famous people are very self-centered, do only care about themselves and how they feel, what they want, the things that they need, and they tend to disregard the things that other people need, want, and feel. And I think that was one of the main components in this case, with her son abusing her boyfriend's son, is that she did not want to compromise what she wanted, and that this child's innocence was worth risking to get what she wanted. Sick. This was all completely preventable, and these are the cases that anger me the most, because that boy is going to need therapy, he's going to need help, he's going to need all of the same things that Braylon needs, or this is going to be another cycle continued, because he's 6 now. In 10 years, in 5 years, he could be the Braylon that is acting out his anger by molesting a younger child, and then we have another traumatized generation, another person in this line of trauma, to add on. So this cycle needs to be broken. I really hope and pray that these parents come in with compassion, with patience, with help, and do not at all try to cover this up and just make it disappear. That's the worst thing for these children's mental health. But that's all we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Comment down below and talk that shit if you got to. You know I love you. Be great, be you. I'll see you soon.